Okay, let's get started. We have IELTS listening module and we are going to solve this test together. You have the handout with you. Let me tell you, this test is from Cambridge IELTS book number 8. Now, book number 8 is old book, okay? In actual IELTS exam, you never know. Sometimes they give you tests from the pattern of 11 to 19. Sometimes they give you the test, the pattern from 5 to book 10. Like recently, one of my students, he appeared in exam, he said, sir, in part 1 and part 4, they gave me no more than 3 words. Now, no more than 3 words is old pattern. New pattern is 1 word only. But they have a huge variety of tests. So you never know when you have your exam, they may give you any new or old test, right? But otherwise, like we will be solving the test. I mean, what I personally prefer, that is Cambridge IELTS books 11 to 19. They are more than enough. Yes, if you have more time, then you can go back to books 10, 9, 8, 7. Up to 7, it's okay, but don't go beyond that. If you open book number 1, Cambridge IELTS book number 1, the pattern is totally different. Okay, I mean, if you compare book number 1 with book number 19, the pattern is different. Questions are same, like all 40 questions, but the types and pattern, that is different. So whenever you have to practice listening and reading, you should practice from Cambridge IELTS books 11 to 19. First preference is that. Okay, academic and general training, these books are available separately. Second preference, once you finish all these books, then you can go through Cambridge IELTS books 10 backwards. Or otherwise, there are some other Cambridge books. Like we have a very good Cambridge book that is called Cambridge Official Guide to IELTS. That book has 8 listening tests and they are okay, right? Then there is another one, Cambridge IELTS Trainer, academic and general training. But 11 to 19 will be okay. इतने पढ़ाकू तो आप लोग हैं भी नहीं. Okay, so 11 to 19 is fine, but do not waste the test. Wasting the test means you are doing test after test. In one day, 3 listening tests. And the result is 15 correct answers. Okay, not like this. One day you need to take 1 or maximum 2 listening tests, and then you need to investigate your wrong answers, why answer is wrong and all that. Okay, so now let's get started. We have this test 2. IELTS listening test 2 from Cambridge IELTS book number 8. Questions 1 to 3, complete the form below, form completion. And then write no more than 3 words. No more than 3 means maximum 3, minimum 1. And then they have written and or a number. Now answer may contain 3 words plus number, 2 words plus number, 1 word plus number, only 1 word, only 1 number. All these are possible options. Then they say total insurance incident report. Now imagine there is an insurance company and there is an incident. For example, if you've got car insurance and your car has got an accident and you tell the insurance company what happened and all that. So there's going to be a dialogue like that. In IELTS listening part 1 and part 2, they always give you dialogues. In part 1 there is a dialogue on social situation. Part 2 there is a monologue, or you may call it presentation, or we call it audio commentary by one person on social situation. Part 3 and part 4, they are educational. And this is same for academic as well as for general training IELTS. Listening is same. Okay, reading is somehow different, but anyways, we are talking about listening, so it's like that. Now, example is given, name is written. In the past, they used to play example audios, but now they don't play example audio. They directly start from question number 1. Question number 1, address, 24 Manley Street, dash, and then Sydney. Now, answer will come after Manley Street and before Sydney. Okay, let's see what it is.
Section 1. You will hear a conversation between a representative of an insurance company and a customer.
Good morning, Total Insurance. Judy speaking. How may I help you?
I recently shipped my belongings from overseas back here to Australia, and I took out insurance with your company. Some items were damaged during the move, so I need to make a claim. What do I have to do?
Okay, well, first I need to get a few details about this. Can you give me your name, please?
Yes, it's Michael Alexander.
Okay, and your address, please?
My old address or my current one?
Your current one.
It's 24 Manly Street, Milperra, near Sydney.
What was the suburb, sorry?
Milperra. Milperra.
Right.
All right, Milperra. How to spell Milperra? Milperra. Is not like it's double R, okay? So Perra. Now, if you write your answer with single R or minor change in the spelling, and your answer will be wrong. Okay, that's a good start. Shipping agent. Now, answer is going to be the name of shipping agent, right? For example, we've got TCS, we've got PIA Cargo, we've got Leopard, Tiger, and all that, right? So it's going to be the shipping agent. Now, please listen carefully, and you got to write.
Now, who was the shipping agent, Mr. Alexander?
You mean the company we used?
Yes, the company who packed everything up at the point of origin.
Oh, it was, First Class Movers.
Okay.
It was First Class Movers. Now, you need to write all three words. First Class Movers. And first should be written as a word. First. First. First Class Movers. Okay. Place of origin, China. Date of arrival. Very simple. It's the date. Now, they may confuse you by telling you the date of a postal date, right? Postal date is not the answer. Answer is arrival date. For example, if they say you will get your parcel on 18th October. Now, 18th October is actually date of arrival. So, when you write date, simple, you will write the number along with the month. And month you should write full. For example, January, February, you should write full. But if you write abbreviation of months of the year or days of the week, they can accept it. But it's a good idea to write full word. Okay? Now, let's see.
Where were the goods shipped from?
China, but the ship came via Singapore and was there for about a week.
Don't worry, all of that information will be in the documentation. Now, the dates. Do you know when the ship arrived?
It left on the 11th of October and got to Sydney on the 28th of November.
Okay.
It left on 11th of October. That's not the answer. That is a trap. Right? Arrived, that is 28 November. So you may write 28 November, or you can write November 28, or you can write 28th with TH. 28th November, November 28th. It's always fine. Any pattern of date is okay. Next, reference number, and there is no question about that. After that, we come to questions 4 to 10. Write one word and or a number for each answer. So it's one word and or a number. Item, television. Damage, they will tell us. Now imagine a television came via cargo. Damage, what can be the damage to television? Screen is broken, right? Or maybe any other part is broken or anything like that, okay? So, damage is the dash needs to be replaced. Replaced means they need a new one, okay? So, one part of television which is broken in the cargo, it needs to be replaced. Let's see.
I need to take down a few details of the actual damage over the phone before you put in a full report. Can you tell me how many items were damaged and what the damage was?
Yes, well, 4 things actually. I'll start with the big things. My TV, first of all. It's a large one, very expensive.
Insurance doesn't cover electrical problems.
It isn't an electrical problem. The screen has a huge crack in it, so it's unusable.
I see. Any idea of the price to repair it?
No. Well, I don't think it can be repaired. It will need a new one.
Okay, I'll make a note of that and we'll see what we can do.
Okay, so screen, it has a big crack. Then for screen, he used the word it. It can't be repaired. It can be repaired means screen cannot be repaired. So what cannot be repaired must be replaced. So correct answer is screen. How do you spell screen? E-N. Well done. Okay, next cost is unknown. Second item which is broken. Now imagine one is television, one is dining room table, one is set of china. So another item which is broken. So it's very simple. They will tell us the dash cabinet. Usually we have kitchen cabinet, we have bathroom cabinet, we have living room cabinet and all that. So let's see where this cabinet is or what it is for.
Now, what was the second item?
The cabinet from the bathroom was damaged as well. It's a lovely cabinet. We use it to keep our towels in.
Okay, the cabinet from the bathroom. Now, cabinet from the bathroom means bathroom cabinet. Okay, bathroom cabinet. So, correct answer is bathroom, and bathroom will be written as one word because it's one word, bathroom. Next, what is the damage? Now, imagine there is a cabinet. Okay, so what is the damage? The dash of the cabinet is damaged. Door, maybe. If you understand the audio like this, your guess will be right. That's the right answer. Okay, so that's why I advise you all to actually imagine whatever you listen. If you're imagining a shipment came, television was broken, if you visualize broken television, you can understand things better, right? So let's see. One part of the cabinet is damaged.
And what is the extent of the damage?
Well, the back and the sides seem okay, but the door has a huge hole in it. It can't be repaired. I'm really not very happy about it.
Okay, door has a huge hole in it. So, what is the answer? And what is the synonym of damage? Hole in it. Door has a huge hole in it. Now, that hole is actually damage. So, they replace the word damage with the damage actually. For example, you say there is a dent in my car. So you say my car is damaged. So what is the damage? Dent in the car, right? So answer is door. Next, price, and dollar sign is already there. Now what is the expected price of the cabinet? They will tell us. And you will only write the number. Do not write currency sign or currency because it's already there, right? Let's see.
And how much do you think it will cost to replace it?
Well, when I bought it last year, I paid $125 for it. But the one I've seen here in Sydney is a bit more expensive. It's $140.
Right.
See that? 140. And 125 is a trap. Like he said last year. Okay, उनकी भी कीमतें बढ़ती हैं हर साल. So, last year it was 125. And sometimes, you write a wrong answer and then you shut your ears. 125 IELTS, no problem. Okay, you need to listen till the end. Sometimes they make you write an answer and then they cross it and then they change it. So 140, 140. Numbers should be written in digits. Next, dining room table. Imagine a dining room table. A dash is split. A means singular item. Dining room table, a dash is split. Split means separate. टूट के अलग होगी कोई चीज, something like that, split. For example, if you said door is split. Door is split means door हाथ में आ गया, उतर गया, like that. Okay, so let's see what is split of a dining room table.
And what was the third item?
My dining room table. It's a lovely table from Indonesia. It must have been very hot inside the container because one leg has completely split down the middle.
Okay, one leg is completely split down the middle. This is the leg, so down the middle it's completely split. So answer is leg. For he used the word one. One leg is split. So you will write only the word leg. That is the right answer. Now see, these things happen in Australia as well, right? Yeah. Next, price is mentioned. After that we have set of china. Now we don't understand set of china. What set? Mobile set, crockery set, glass set, dinner set, and all that. They will tell us in the audio. 6 dash were broken. Now, if they tell you 4, 5, that is not your answer. 6 dash were broken. Now, let's see 6 items. What were they?
What was the last item, Mr. Alexander?
Well, we have a lovely set of china plates and dishes, with matching cups, saucers, the lot. They were all in the one box, which must have got dropped because some plates were broken. 6, actually.
Some plates were broken. 6 actually. 6 actually means 6 plates were broken. So correct answer is plates. And it's a very good way to improve your English grammar as well. For example, 6 plates were broken. Now you understand, okay, it is the passive voice of past tense. 6 plateं टूट गईं, something like that. 6 plates were broken. Okay, so you can improve your grammar indirectly from IELTS listening and IELTS reading as well. Now, question number 10 about dash in total, price of 6 plates. Okay, let's see what it is.
And can you tell me the replacement value of these?
Well, it's hard to say because they were part of a set, but they can be up to $10 each as it's such a good set.
Okay, so that would be around $60 altogether.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, that would be around $60 altogether. Now, in total and altogether, they are synonyms. And in your English, wherever you want to use the word in total, you can say altogether. For example, it will cost you 5,000 rupees altogether. Altogether means in total. So, you need to absorb new English and then you need to learn that. Okay, correct answer is 60. Alright, now let's go on. We have IELTS Listening Part 2 and the real party is going to start. Let me tell you, this test is quite challenging. If you take a look at Part 4, multiple choice questions. And it's very unusual to have multiple choice questions in Part 4. In Part 4, commonly we have one word only, right? But actually this is somewhat old pattern, but you never know. Multiple choice questions may appear in any part of IELTS, 1, 2, 3 or 4. So this test will actually give you some insights. Question number 11, according to the speaker, the main purposes of the park are. Now they've mentioned two purposes, right? So the main purposes of the park are option A, education, entertainment. If both options are in the audio and the main purposes, A will be the right answer. Option B, research and education. Now one is education plus entertainment. If it isn't that, then research, education. And finally research and entertainment. See how confusing it is. And now they don't have these type of questions anymore. Now they have more insano wale questions. But otherwise, see, it can be very confusing that in one option, education is in two options, research is in two options, entertainment is in two options. So you need to pick up. Now they will tell you the purpose of the park and they will tell you, for example, well, the primary function of the park is not education as some people think. Education is gone. Then you will focus an option which is without education, right? So I play the audio, please listen and answer.
Section 2. You will hear an introductory talk about a new agricultural park.
Welcome to Greenvale Agricultural Park. As you know, we've only been open a week, so you're amongst our first visitors. We have lots of fascinating indoor and outdoor exhibits on our huge complex, spreading hundreds of hectares. Our remit is to give educational opportunities to the wider public, as well as to offer research sites for a wide variety of agriculturists and other scientists.
So, education and research. Please listen again, some of you missed it.
Section 2. You will hear an introductory talk about a new agricultural park.
Welcome to Greenvale Agricultural Park. As you know, we've only been open a week, so you're amongst our first visitors. We have lots of fascinating indoor and outdoor exhibits on our huge complex, spreading hundreds of hectares. Our remit is to give educational opportunities to the wider public.
Okay, to give education opportunities to the wider public,
as well as to offer research sites.
as well as to offer the research. Now, education and research, that is option B.
For a wide variety of agriculturists and other scientists.
Okay, they didn't even talk about entertainment, right? So B will be the right answer. Now we have this map, questions 12 to 14. Label the plan below. Write no more than 2 words for each answer. So no more than 2 means maximum 2. Agricultural park. And can you see you are here? You are here, they will start the audio from there and then they will take you. Now when the map is in front of you, when they say you are here, if they say walk straight, right? And then they have given you north, west, east and south. Okay. Now, by the way, in this book, they have given you are here on the left side. Mostly they give you are here at the bottom. Then it is easier for you. You can go from, you enter from the bottom and then you can go here and there. Things are in front of you, but this is a bit from there. Anyways, now you can do one thing. On top of the map, you can write capital N. On the left side of the map, write capital W, W for west. On the right side of the map, you can write capital E, E for east. and at the bottom of the map you can write S for south. Okay, and if this says southwest, southwest is that corner. This is south, this is west, this corner is southwest. If this says southeast, so it's the other one. This is south, this is east, this area is called southeast. Okay, now you are here, there is that reception block, and check the arrangement of questions, because questions and the audio, they will be in order. So first we have question number 12, then 13 is near the lake. Near the lake there are two things. Answer is actually, and you know it's very easy to spot. They will say near the lake there are two dash. And next we've got question number 14, and that is next to marsh and dash area. Now what you have to do, you have to follow the audio. If they say, well, you are here at the reception block, when you come out of reception block, you will reach rare breed section and then grazing area. So you come to grazing, your pencil will move. If they say next to grazing area, we have dash area. Now that will be your answer. So answer will come next to grazing area. Let's see.
Let's start by seeing what there is to do. As you can see here on our giant wall plan, we are now situated in the reception block here. As you walk out of the main door into the park, there's a path you can follow. If you follow this route, you'll immediately come into the rare breeds section, where we keep a wide variety of animals, which I shall be telling you a little more about later. Next to this, moving east, is the large grazing area for the rare breeds. Then further east, in the largest section of our park, is the forest area.
Okay, in the largest section of our park is the forest area. So you noticed rare breed section, then he talked about grazing area, and after that forest area. So you can write word forest, or you may write the forest. But I advise you, when it is IELTS listening and IELTS reading, do not write articles. Articles are a, and, the, some. Never write articles, because if you don't write articles, your answer will never be wrong. But if you write articles and the question type is one word only, your answer will be wrong. Now for instance, if this is one word only and you write the forest, your answer will be wrong. And sometimes they have already written the article before the blank. In that case, if you write article second time, your answer will be wrong. So for listening and for reading, never write article. Okay. Alright, let's go on. Now we have question number 13. Again, remember lake, and then next to lake there are two things.
South of the grazing area, and in fact just next to the reception block, is our experimental crop area. In the middle of the park, this circular area is our lake. These two small rectangular shapes here are the fish farms where we rear fish for sale.
Okay, two small rectangular areas are fish farm. Now you may write fish farm or fish farms, both are fine. Okay, so correct answer is fish farm. If you write only fish, your answer is wrong, because it's not fish. And if you write only farm, it's not clear which farm, like cattle farm, fish farm and all that. So correct answer is fish farm or farms. Okay, next we've got question number 14, and that is next to marsh, and answer will come with the word area.
To the east of those is the marsh area, which attracts a great many migrant birds. In the southeastern corner, beyond the marsh, is our market garden area, growing vegetables and flowers.
Southeast corner, that area is market garden area. Well done.
To the east of those is the marsh area, which attracts a great many migrant birds. In the southeastern corner, beyond the marsh, is our market garden area.
Okay, beyond the marsh is our market garden area. Alright, now we go on. Alright, now we've got IELTS listening part 2, and we have so many multiple choice questions here. Question number 15. When are experimental areas closed for public? Now, areas closed for public, right? For example, option A, all year round. Now, listen and remember, experimental area where they do experiment. If that area is closed throughout the year Or if they say that area is not for general public. I mean, for example, there are certain areas of the park which are not for general public. So if they are closed throughout the year, then A will be the right answer. Option B, almost all the year. If they say once or twice we open it, once or twice means almost all the year. Or if they say we only open this area on Christmas or on Independence Day, so that means almost all the year. And option C, short time every year. Now short time every year means they can say during the winter months we open this area to general public for 10 days. 10 days is short time. Okay, now let's see what do they say. Experimental area, and when is it closed for public?
All these areas can be visited by the general public for almost all the year. Although, please take note of the large signs at the entrance to each area, which tell you when certain areas are being used for particular controlled experiments and are therefore temporarily out of bounds to the public.
Okay, all the year? Option A? Alright, it's confusing. Listen
All these
again.
areas can be visited by the general public for almost all the year.
All the areas can be visited by general public almost all the year. So when are the experimental areas closed? We are going to look at closed. They said open, so A is not the right answer.
Although, please take note of the large signs at the entrance to each area, which tell you when certain areas are being used for particular controlled experiments.
Okay, when certain areas are being used for particular controlled experiment.
And are therefore temporarily out of bounds to the public.
Temporarily out of bound to the public. Which option? C. Okay, option C, short time every year. So they are closed short time every year, but otherwise he said all the year round they are open. Now option A is open all year round, but the question is when are they closed? Now they are playing with you, like in the question they mentioned the word closed. In the audio they are giving you the answer with open. So when something is not open, what does it mean? It is closed. It's like that. So short time every year, C will be the right answer. How can you move around the park? For example, you go to a park, sometimes you walk it, sometimes they have their own transport, sometimes they have a beautiful buggy, horse-drawn vehicle and all that. Option A, tram, walking, bicycle. 3 options. Tram is more like a little train and all that. Option B, solar car or bicycle. And option C, bicycle, walking or bus. So have you noticed bicycle is everywhere. Now you're going to focus what are other 2 modes which you can use to go around the park.
You can see for yourself what a huge area the park covers, and a key question is always, how can we move around? Well, you have a choice of means. All environmentally friendly. Cars are banned in the park. We have bicycles, which you can hire behind the reception block here. The healthy ones of you can go on foot. And finally, there's our electric tram, powered from solar cells. You find more information about this at the front entrance.
So, answer is? A? No. Good. Answer is A. I heard C somewhere. They said like environmentally friendly they are, right? That took you to solar car, but they didn't mention the word solar car, right? They said bicycles and buses and cars are banned. Okay, so correct answer is option A, bicycle, walking or tram. Anyone confused about it or clear? All clear? Good. Question number 17, rare breed animals. Rare breed animals are the animals which are not found commonly these days. Rare breed. Rare breed animals kept in the park include, now what are the rare breed animals which are, few of these animals are left. Okay, so rare breed animals which are there. Hens and horses. Option B, goats and cows. And option C, goats and hens. Send Yasi now. Goats and hens. So let's see what do they say about it. Which rare breed animals are kept in the park?
A good place to start on your tour is the rare breed section. We keep goats, sheep and hens and other kinds of poultry. We're also thinking of bringing in cows and horses, but we do not as yet have facilities for these bigger animals.
So we do not have facilities for bigger animals. What are bigger animals here? Cows is bigger animal, horses is bigger animals. So what are smaller animals? Goats and hens. That's right. Please focus again.
A good place to start on your tour is the rare breed section. We keep goats, sheep and hens and other kinds of poultry.
Okay, we keep goats, sheep, hens and other kind of poultry. So goats and hens. Sheep comes here.
We're also thinking of bringing in cows and horses.
We are also thinking of bringing. Thinking of bringing means they don't have them. For example, if I say I'm thinking of buying a coat, it means I don't have a coat, right? So we are thinking of bringing cows and horses.
But we do not as yet have facilities for these bigger animals.
Okay, we don't have facilities for them. Question number 18. What is the main purpose of having the rare breeds section? Now, what's the purpose of having this section? Option A, save unusual animals, safety. Option B, keep a variety of breeds, so underline variety of breeds. Option C, educate public. So what's the purpose of having rare breeds?
The animals are fed in public twice a day and a short lecture given on their feeding habits and nutritional needs. These are very popular with the public, but of course we mustn't lose sight of the main purpose of having this section, not as such to preserve rare animals, but to maintain the diversity of breeds, to broaden the gene pool for agricultural development.
Okay, to maintain the diversity of breeds. What does it mean? To keep a variety of breeds. Diversity of breeds, diversity and variety, they are synonyms in IELTS. Correct answer is B. All clear or shall I repeat? Clear. I repeat, okay, no problem. I don't mind.
The animals are fed in public twice a day and a short lecture given on their feeding habits and nutritional needs. These are very popular.
Okay, a short lecture is given. Now, this is not the purpose, main purpose.
The public, but of course we mustn't lose sight of the main purpose of having this section, not as such to preserve rare animals, but to maintain the diversity of breeds.
Okay, so the main purpose is to maintain the diversity of breeds.
To broaden the gene pool for agricultural development.
Okay, question number 19. What can you see in the park at the present time? Present time means currently. Alright, what they will bring in the future, that is not your answer. What they had last month, last week, that is not your answer. So option A, wild birds. If wild birds are present there now in the present tense, it is the answer. And if they say last year we used to have wild birds and some of them died, but now we don't have any wild bird at all, it's not the answer. And if they say we are thinking of buying some wild birds, so then it will not be the answer. The answer is something which you can see. Option B, fruit tree blossom. And if they say our fruit tree will blossom next month, will it be the answer? No, I mean this is next month. Option C, demonstration of fishing. So out of 3, they will talk about 2 things, whether related to past or related to future, or they don't have them there. But the thing which they have, and they will use present tense for that, present simple or present continuous, that will be the answer.
Greenvale changes with the seasons, with different events happening at different times of the year. May will be perhaps our most spectacular month, with the arrival of the Canada geese, and when our fruit trees will be in full blossom. But there are interesting events on all year round. For example, John Havers, our expert fly fisherman, is currently giving displays on the lake.
Our experienced fisherman is currently giving something. So it is all related to fishing. C will be the answer. Let's focus why A and B are wrong.
Greenvale changes with the seasons, with different events happening at different times of the year. May will be perhaps our most spectacular month, with the arrival of the Canada geese.
Okay, May and arrival of Canadian geese. So that is wild birds, but that is in May. It's future. It's not now.
And when our fruit trees will be in full blossom.
And when our fruit trees will be in full blossom. That is also future. that is also may. Okay, so both things are in may. Now when you cross both options, you are left with right answer. So the best way to deal with multiple choice questions is to eliminate the wrong options, and then you'll be left with the right one.
But there are interesting events on all year round. For example, John Havers, our expert fly fisherman, is currently giving displays on the lake.
Is currently giving display. Fisherman is currently giving display, so that is demonstration of fishing. Demonstration means display. Question number 20. The shop contains books about. Now they have a shop, and the shop sells books about what? Option A, animals. Option B, local traditions. And option C, history of the park. So what are the books about?
Each of the sections has its own seasonal calendar, and please consult the summary board at the main entrance. And the final section, as we return to the reception blocks, is the orchard. Do take time to browse round our shop. There's a wide selection of books on wildlife, some of them written by local authors, and the history of farming, including organic farming, something which the park will be diversifying into in the coming months.
So, why not C? No. C is, it's not about the history of park. He said the books are about history of farming. Okay, so let's see. The shop contains books like...
Each of the sections has its own seasonal calendar, and please consult the summary board at the main entrance. And the final section, as we return to the reception blocks, is the orchard. Do take time to browse round our shop. There's a wide selection of books on wildlife.
There is a wide selection of books on wildlife. So shop contains books about animals. Animals is wildlife.
Some of them written by local authors.
Some of them written by local authors, not local traditions. They use the word local, but authors.
And the history of farming.
And the history of farming, not history of park. It's history of farming. That is why B and C are. And again, I'm telling you, the day when you identify... Alright, now let's go on. We have more multiple choice questions and then more multiple choice questions, right? Today you will do PhD in multiple choice questions. Honeybees in Australia. Now think about honeybees, think about Australia. You might have seen some honeybees and bee farming. When you go to Narankagan or some other areas like that, they have beekeepers are there, they have honeybees and they create honey from there. So this is that honey. Question number 21. Where in Australia have Asian honeybees been found in the past? Encircle the word past and write there once. For example, if you ask me, when did you go to Murray in the past? And I say, once I went to Narankagan. Once I went to Narankagan means, once means in the past. So for past, they will use the word once. Now, where means location. Answer is location where Asian honeybees were found. Look at them. Now they are calling Asian honeybees, Australian honeybees, Pakistani honeybees. Now they have left the human and now they are talking about animals also. So, option A, Queensland. All these places are in Australia. Option B, New South Wales. Option C, several states. If they say Queensland, New South Wales and some other states, then C will be the right answer. So where Asian honeybees found in the past, and look for the option once they were found, once they were spotted, and then answer will come. So let's see.
Section 3. You will hear part of a seminar in which a researcher called Grant Freeman discusses his work on Australian honeybees with a group of students.
Good morning, everyone. In today's seminar, Grant Freeman, a biologist who specialises in identifying insects and who works for the Australian Quarantine Service, has come to talk to us about his current research work. Right, well, over to you, Grant.
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure that you know that the Quarantine Service regulates all food brought into Australia. Well, obviously they want to protect Australia from diseases that might come in with imported goods, but they also want to prevent insect pests from being introduced into the country, and that's where I have a part to play. Anyway, my current research involves trying to find a particular type of bee, the Asian honeybee, and finding out whether there are any of them around in various states of Australia. We discovered a few of them in Queensland once and eradicated them. Now we're pretty keen to make sure that there aren't any more getting in, particularly to New South Wales and other states.
So, option C, A, B. Alright, correct answer is option A. Now please listen again.
The Australian
Good morning, everyone. I'm sure that you know that the Quarantine Service regulates all food brought into Australia. Well, obviously they want to protect Australia from diseases that might come in with imported goods, but they also want to prevent insect pests from being introduced into the country, and that's where I have a part to play. Anyway, my current research involves trying to find a particular type of bee, the Asian honeybee, and finding out whether there are any of them around in various states of Australia.
That is his job, to find them out whether they are in various states of Australia. Now he didn't mention once he found them in various states of Australia. He said my job is to look for them in various states of Australia. C is wrong.
We discovered a few of them in Queensland once.
We discovered a few in Queensland once. So that is where in Australia have Asian honeybees found in the past. That is Queensland, right?
And eradicated them.
And eradicated them.
Now we're pretty keen to make sure that there aren't any more getting in.
Okay, now we are pretty sure there aren't any more getting in, particularly
to New South Wales and other states.
To New South Wales and other states. Like we are pretty keen to find if they have come or not. So they found only once, and that is Queensland. Question number 22. Problem with Asian honeybees is that. Now what is the problem? If they get Asian honeybees in Australia, what is the problem? Attack native bees. If Asian honeybees say, you are Australian honeybees, come, we fight. So if they attack them, A will be the right. If they say Asian honeybees kill Australian honeybees, or they destroy them, or they fight with them, A will be the right answer. B, carry pesticides. On the bees there are small insects, pesticides, parasites. Yeah, parasites. So if they carry parasite, that is the problem. And option C, damage crops. Now out of 3 they will mention the problem with the Asian honeybees, and that will be your answer.
What's wrong with Asian honeybees? Are they so different from Australian bees?
Well, in fact, they look almost the same, but they are infested with mites, microscopic creatures which live on them, and which can seriously damage our own homegrown bees, or could even wipe them out.
So what's the problem? The problem, no, they can wipe them out, but they have not wiped them out. The problem is they are infested with pesticide, right? And that is carry parasites. Parasites are those pesticides. They are infested. Infested means on Asian honeybees there are small insects. Okay, focus again.
What's wrong with Asian honeybees? Are they so different from Australian bees?
Well, in fact, they look almost the same, but they are infested with mites.
They are infested with mice.
Microscopic creatures which live on them.
Okay, microscopic creatures which live on them, and they are parasites. Okay, and they are infested. Infested means they carry parasites.
And which can seriously damage our own homegrown bees.
Which can seriously damage our own homegrown bees. So they have not damaged them. They can damage.
Or could even wipe them out.
Or even wipe them out. So the problem is they carry parasites. They do not attack. Question number 23. What point is made about Australian bees? Option A. Honey varies in quality. Now if the variety of honey is different with Australian bees, A will be the right answer. Option B. Size stops them from pollinating some flowers. So size stops pollinating flowers. You know, honeybees, they pollinate flowers, right? So if size stops them from pollination, B will be the right answer. Sold to customers abroad. So if they sell them, for example, what point is made about Australian bees? If they sell Australian bees to people in other countries, for example, now, like they are selling Australian cows In Pakistan, in many dairy farms, they have Australian cows. Okay, so if they sell them, then there is option C. Now please listen and answer.
Well, what would happen if Australian bees died out?
Well, the honey from Australian bees is of excellent quality, much better than the stuff the Asian bees produce. In fact, Australia exports native queen bees to a large number of countries because of this. When the European honeybee was first discovered out in the bush, we found they made really unpleasant honey, and they were also too big to pollinate many of our native flowers here in Australia.
That must have had a devastating effect on the natural flora. Did you lose any species?
No, we managed to get them under control before that happened.
Okay, answer came far before that. So what's the right answer? Option A, option B, option C. Correct answer is C. I play it again. Please focus.
Well, what would happen if Australian bees died out?
Well, the honey from Australian bees is of excellent quality.
The honey of Australian bees is an excellent quality. Option A, honey varies in quality. It does not vary. When it is of excellent quality, it does not vary. So A is not the right answer.
Much better than the stuff the Asian bees produce.
Okay, much better than the stuff that the Asian bees produce.
In fact, Australia exports native queen bees to a
Australia exports native queen bees. That is option C. They are sold to customers abroad. Okay?
large number of countries because of this. When the European honeybee was first discovered out...
When the European honeybee, now he is not talking about Australian honeybee. Our question is about Australian honeybee. So you don't need to listen because he's talking about European honeybee.
In the bush, we found they made really unpleasant honey, and they were also too big to pollinate.
They were too big to pollinate. Who? European bees. Exactly. That's what you need to see. Okay? So don't listen to everything. When they talk about European bee, Asian bee, don't listen if your question is about Australian bee. Question number 24. Grant Freeman says that if Asian honeybees got into Australia, now what would happen? Option A, country's economy affected. So if Asian honeybees come to Australia, Australia's economy would be affected. Option B, could be used in the study of allergies. Underline used, study of allergies. Study means research. Option C, certain areas of agriculture would benefit. So agriculture would benefit. Now let's see what do they say. If Asian honeybees come to Australia, what will happen?
But if Asian bees got in, there could be other consequences. We could lose a lot of money because you might not be aware, but it's estimated that native bees' pollination of flower and vegetable crops is worth $1.2 billion a year. So in a way, they're the farmer's friend. Oh, and another thing is, if you're stung by an Asian honeybee, it can produce an allergic reaction in some people, so they're much more dangerous than native bees.
So, see, this is advanced level English. They are trying to confuse you. If you are stung by a bee from there, it may cause allergic reaction. You might think B is the right answer, but B is used in the study of allergies. They did not mention study of allergies. They only said it caused an allergic reaction. That's it. Okay. So B is not the right answer. Right answer is A, where they talked about $1 billion and this and that and all that. Please focus again.
But if Asian bees got in, there could be other consequences. We could lose a lot of money because...
We can lose a lot of money. Losing a lot of money means country's economy will be affected.
You might not be aware, but it's estimated that native bees' pollination of flower and vegetable crops is worth $1.2 billion a year.
Okay, so native bees pollination is $1.2 billion a year. So it's all about country's economy. Okay. Now we've got IELTS listening part 3, questions 25 to 30. Write one word only. So this is what we usually get in part 4. Looking for Asian honeybees. Birds called rainbow bee eaters. It's the name of the bird. How do we understand? Rainbow R capital, B capital, E capital. Rainbow bee eaters eat only dash. Now what is it that they eat? Only. right? Underline the word only. For example, if I say, like, what's your name? Muzammil? Mushtaq. Okay, his name is Mushtaq. If I say Mushtaq eats only as long as it is a cheeseburger, what does it mean? He only eats cheeseburger. Mushtaq eats as long as it is a cheeseburger. Means he only eats cheeseburger. Now they've used the word only. Right over there, as long as it is. As long as it is. Right? So if I say he wears clothes as long as it is branded. He wears clothes as long as it is branded. What does it mean? He only wears branded clothes. Right? So as long as it is means only.
How will you know if Asian bees have entered Australia?
We're looking at the diet of the bird called the rainbow bee-eater. The bee-eater doesn't care what it eats as long as they're insects. But the interesting thing about this bird...
It doesn't care what it eats as long as it is insects. So it only eats insects. Okay? Answer is insects. Next, we've got question number 26. Researchers go to locations the bee-eaters like to use. What is bee-eaters? It's a bird. Bee-eaters is a bird, okay? You should know that. Researchers go to locations where bee-eaters like to use for dash. Now the locations which the bird bee-eaters like to use for what? Like to use for nesting, like to use for anything like that.
So how do you go about it?
In the field, we track down the bee-eaters and find their favourite feeding spots. You know, the places where the birds usually feed.
We find their feeding spots, places where the birds usually feed. What is the answer? Feeding. They use for feeding. If you write they use for feed, that is not correct. They use for feeding. Listen again.
So how do you go about it?
In the field, we track down the bee-eaters and find their favourite feeding spots. You know.
Okay, we track down the bee-eaters and find their favorite feeding spots. So, which they like to use for feeding. Feeding spots, the spots they like to use for feeding. And for spots, they use the word locations. Okay, question number 27. They collect the pellets. We don't know what the pellets are, whatever they are, right? So they collect the pellets and take them to somewhere for analysis. Now we are talking about biology and all that. So where would they, what do you think? Where would they take pellets for analysis? Lab, absolutely, somewhere like that, okay? So they take the pellets and we don't know the meaning of pellets and we don't need to. Maybe something related to bee eaters or bees or anything like that, okay? Now, let's see.
It's here that we can find the pellets. We collect them up and take them back to the laboratory to examine the contents.
Okay, to take them back to laboratory to examine. To examine means analysis. So laboratory will be the right answer. And you will not write lab, you will write laboratory. Laboratory. L-A-B-O-R-A-T-O-R-Y. That's right. Here means in the laboratory. Here dash is used to soften them. What do they mean by them? Pellets. You should know that, okay? Otherwise it will be a confusing question for you. Here means laboratory. Something is used to soften the pellets. It means pellets are hard. Maybe they use steam to soften them, or they use something else to soften them, any liquid or anything like that.
How do you do that?
The pellets are really hard, especially if they've been out in the sun for a few days. So, first of all, we treat them by adding water to moisten them and make them softer.
Okay, water to moisten them and to soften them. So what is the answer? Water is used. Okay, good. And the researchers look for the dash of Asian bees in the pellets. Now in the pellets, they look for one part of body of Asian bees. Something related to Asian bees. So in the pellets, they search something which is related to Asian bees. Maybe their eggs or their any other part of body. Let's see.
Then we pull them apart under the microscope. Everything's all scrunched up, but we're looking for wings, so we just pull them all out and straighten them.
Okay.
Then we identify them to see if we can find any Asian bee wings.
We are looking for wings. So answer is wings of Asian bees in the pallets. Benefit of this research is that the result is more dash than searching for live Asian bees. Result is more. Underline the word more. For more, they can use the word more, much, okay, much, something, then searching for live Asian honeybees. And answer is going to qualify the word result. For example, if they say result is more positive, so result is much more positive. So the answer will come with the word result. And for result, they may use the word outcome. Outcome is much more positive, something like that.
And how many have you found?
So far, our research shows that Asian bees have not entered Australia in any number. It's a good result and much more reliable than trying to find live ones as evidence of introduced
Okay, it's a good result and much more reliable, right? So that the result is more. Now you cannot write result is more good. More good is grammatically wrong. They said it's a good result and much more reliable. So answer is reliable.
insects.
Well, that's fascinating.
Alright, done, Chaddo. Yeah. We are not interested. We are only interested in honey. That's it. Kahan se aata hai, we don't mind. Okay guys, I'm so sorry. We have multiple choice questions again. So please be ready. In part 4 and part 1, multiple choice questions are pretty unusual. If you get them in part 1 and part 4, it means it is something like old tests, right? But anyways, we'll do that. Research on questions about doctors. Now, what's the topic? The topic is research on questions about doctor. Like people ask different questions about doctors and there is a research on that. Question number 31. In order to set up her research program, Shona got... Okay, so Shona is the name here, alright? I pronounced it differently, sorry about that. In order to set up her research program, she got what? Let's see. Option A, advice. Main word is advice. She got advice from personal friends in other countries. So underline advice, personal friends, and other countries. Option B, help from students in other countries. Underline help students, other countries. And option C, information from her tutor's contacts. So information from tutor's contacts. Tutor's contacts means tutors another student. Like you need some help and I say I have another student, she will help you. If I put you through to her, it means contacts from tutor's contacts, right? Now let's see this lady, her name is, what is the name? Look at you, huh? It's coming out from your heart, Shona. Okay, so in order to set up her research program, Shona got what? Advice, personal friends, other countries, help, other students, or information from tutors' contacts.
You will hear a student called Shona giving a presentation on her research report.
I've been doing some research into what people in Britain think of doctors, the ones who work in general practice, the first call for medical care, and comparing this with the situation in a couple of other countries. I want to talk about the rationale behind what I decided to do. Now, I had to set up my program of research in 3 different countries, so I approached postgraduates in my field in overseas departments, contacting them by email to organize things for me at their end. I thought I would have trouble recruiting help, but in fact, everyone was very willing, and sometimes their tutors got involved too.
See, sometimes there were tutors that got involved too. They did not talk about tutors' contacts. They said sometimes there were tutors that got involved too. And she did not talk about her personal friends. So, correct answer is option B. I'm playing it again. Don't worry.
You will hear a student called think of doctors, the ones who work in general practice. I want to talk about the rationale behind what I decided to do.
Now, I had to set up my program of research in 3 different countries.
Okay, now 3 different countries. From there we understand she will talk about countries.
So I approached postgraduates in my field in overseas departments.
So I approached postgraduates in my field in overseas departments. Option A is about personal friends. She didn't talk about that. Okay, option A is gone. Postgraduates in overseas from the same field.
Contacting them by email to organize things for me at their end.
Okay, so that is help from students in other countries. Now, why option C is wrong? That is important.
I thought I would have trouble recruiting help, but in fact, everyone was very willing, and sometimes their tutors got involved too.
Everyone was willing and sometimes their tutors were involved too. Means tutors also helped me. But option C, tutors' contacts. They did not mention tutors' contacts. They only discussed tutors. So correct answer is B. Question number 32. What type of people were included in the research? Option A, young people, first job. Option B, men working or working men. Option C, women unemployed. Okay, so you're just going to focus these big words. Don't focus all the option. So type of people were included in the research.
I had to give my helpers clear instructions about what kind of sample population I wanted them to use. I decided that people under 18 should be excluded because most of them are students or looking for their first job. And also I decided at this stage just to focus on men who were in employment and set up something for people who didn't have jobs and for employed women later on as a separate investigation.
Okay, just focus on men. So Shona only focused on men, right? C is women later on. And option A, young people, she said excluded, right? So correct answer is option B. Let's go on. Question number 33. Shona says that in her questionnaire, her aim was. Now, questionnaire is a list of questions. There are so many questions which you have to answer with options and all that. So, in her questionnaire, her aim was option A, get a wide range of data. Underline wide range of data. Option B, limit people's response. Option C, guide people through interview. So what was her aim in the questionnaire?
And how many?
I specifically wanted to do a questionnaire and interviews with a focus group. With the questionnaire, rather than limiting it to one specific point, I wanted to include as much variety as possible. I know questionnaires are a very controlled way to do things, but I thought I could do taped interviews later on to counteract the effects of this. And the focus group may also prove useful in future by targeting subjects I can easily return to, as the participants tend to be more involved.
So, A, okay, that's correct. Please listen again.
I specifically wanted to do a questionnaire and interviews with a focus group. With the questionnaire, rather than limiting it to one specific point, I wanted to include as much variety as possible.
Okay, with the questionnaire, I wanted to improve as much variety as possible. What is the purpose? To get a wide range of data. So, wide range of data, as much variety as possible.
I know questionnaires are a very controlled way to do things.
I know questionnaires are very controlled way to do things. That is option B, limit people's response. But she didn't mention this as her aim.
But I thought I could do taped interviews later on.
I could do interviews later on. So option C is later on.
To counteract the effects of this. And the focus group...
Okay, question number 34. What do Shona's initial results show about medical services in Britain? Underline initial results show. And we know the topic is medical services in Britain. So initial results show. Option A, current concerns are misrepresented by press. Just underline misrepresented by press. Press means media. It means media is giving the wrong information. Media is giving the false news. So when they talk about media, newspapers, and they are giving wrong news, A will be the right answer. Option B, financial issues are critical to the government. So underline financial, critical, and financial issues, critical, and government. If that is critical financial issues, B will be the right answer. Reforms within hospitals have been unsuccessful. Just underline unsuccessful reforms. Reforms are changes. So changes are unsuccessful. Now, let's see initial results show about medical services in Britain.
So I'm just collating the results now. At the moment, it looks as if in the UK, despite the fact that newspapers continually report that people are unhappy with medical care, in fact, it is mainly the third level of care, which takes place in hospitals, that they are worried about. Government reforms have been proposed at all levels, and although their success is not guaranteed, long-term hospital care is in fact probably less of an issue than the media would have us believe. However, I've still got quite a bit of data to look at.
So, A, alright, listen again and make sure why.
So
A
I'm
is
just
right.
collating the results now. At the moment, it looks as if in the UK, despite the fact that newspapers continually report that people are unhappy with
Okay, newspapers continuously report that people are unhappy with medical.
care, in fact, it is mainly the third level of care, which takes place in hospitals, that they
Okay, so that is third level of care, right, which is in hospitals. So current concerns are misrepresented. In the newspaper, they are talking about medical care, but she's saying that is third level of care in the hospitals. So that is mispresented.
are worried about. Government reforms have been proposed at all levels, and although their success is not guaranteed,
Okay, government reforms have been proposed at all levels, but their success is not guaranteed. Now, success is not guaranteed does not mean they have been unsuccessful. I mean, they had just done it, so the result will come in the future. It's not option C.
long-term hospital care is in fact probably less of an issue than the media would have us believe.
Okay, it would be less of an issue that the media would have us believe. It means media is mispresenting the things and all that. So A will be the right answer here. Now, question number 35, Shona needs to do further research in order to. In order to means purpose. Further research and in order to. Present the government with her findings. Present findings, government. Decide level of extra funding needed. Decide extra funding needed. And option C, identify the preferences of public. Identify preferences public. So why is she doing extra research? Yeah, what is the purpose of doing further research?
Certainly I will need to do more far-reaching research than I had anticipated in order to establish if people want extra medical staff invested in the community, or if they want care to revert to fewer but larger key medical units. The solution may well be something that can be easily implemented by those responsible in local government, with central government support, of course.
So, correct answer is C. That's right. Listen why.
Certainly I will need to do more far-reaching research than I had anticipated in order to establish if people want extra medical staff invested in the community.
Okay, if people want extra medical staff invested into community, that is their preference.
Or if they want care to revert to fewer,
Or if they want. Now, people want this or people want that, it means preference. Remember one thing, whenever they use the word preference in any option, they use the word this or that. This or that means preference, okay? Next, question number 36. Shona has learned from the research project that. What has she learned? Option A, it is important to plan projects carefully. Underline plan projects carefully. Option B, people do not like answering questions. So, not like answering questions. People not like answering questions. And option C, colleagues do not always agree. Colleagues not agree. So, Shona has learned from the research project that.
This first stage has proved very valuable, though. I was surprised by how willing most of the subjects were to get involved in the project. I had expected some unwillingness to answer questions honestly, but I was taken aback and rather concerned that something I thought I'd set up very well didn't necessarily seem that way to everyone in my own department.
Didn't seem very well in my own department. In my own department means colleagues. So colleagues do not always agree. Please listen again.
This first stage has proved very valuable, though. I was surprised by how willing most of the subjects were to get involved in the project.
I was surprised how willing most of the subjects were. Subjects are people on which you do the experiment. Option B, people do not like answering questions. She said they were willing to answer the questions. So it's not B.
I had expected some unwillingness to answer questions honestly, but I was taken aback and rather concerned that something I thought I'd set up very well didn't...
Okay, I was taken aback. Taken aback means surprised. Something I thought I set up very well
necessarily seem that aback and rather concerned that something I thought I'd set up very well didn't necessarily seem that way to everyone in my own department.
Okay, didn't seem the same way in my own department means colleagues do not always agree. Alright, now we've got questions 37 to 40. Which statement applies to each of the following people who were interviewed by Shona? So statement and people we are going to match. Now, when they give you half a minute to read the questions, or when you have to read the questions, it's better to read the options. Option A, false data. Somebody gave her false data. False data. Option B, decided to stop participating. Stop participating. Like for example, somebody answered a couple of questions and then he pulled out. Pulled out means that no, thank you, I don't want to answer any question, cancel my name and all that. So stop participating means pull out. For example, if you say I'm pulling out from IELTS exam, I'm pulling myself out means you are not participating there. Option C, refused to tell Shona about her job. For example, Shona asked her, what work do you do? What do you do? And he said, sorry, I cannot tell you. So refused to tell her about the job. Okay. Option D, kept changing their mind about participating. For example, first said, okay, I will answer the question. They said, no, sorry, I will not. Then again, okay, I answer, or again, no, I will not. So kept changing mind. Option E, became very angry with Shona. Unne patthar chuk liya, jutti chuk li, nas jaye to. Okay, so became very angry with Shona. Like somebody said, shut up, go away from here. I will not answer your silly questions and all that. So it's that. And option F was worried about confidentiality. One person said, please don't tell my name. Please don't tell them about me. Okay, don't give my personal details. So that is worried about confidentiality. Now, people interviewed by Shona. 37. Person interviewed in the street. And then she started interview. Okay, so person interviewed in street, and you will match A, B, C, D with that.
I thought you might also be interested in some of the problems I encountered in collecting my data. There were odd cases that threw me. One of the subjects who I had approached while he was out shopping in town decided to pull out when it came to the second round. It was a shame.
Okay, he decided to pull out when it came to the second round. It was a shame. Decided to pull out means decided to stop participating. Okay, so if you know these words, this language, then you can answer easily. B will be the right answer for question number 37. Question number 38, undergraduate at the university.
And one of the first-year students I interviewed wanted reassurance that no names would be traceable from the answers. I was so surprised because they think nothing of telling you about themselves and their opinions in seminar groups.
Okay, no names would be traced. No names would be traced means was worried about confidentiality. When you want to hide your name and all that, you know, when you give all the news and then you say, kisse nu dassi na. Okay, so that is all confidentiality. So F is the right answer for 38. Now, 39.
Then one of the people that...
Sorry. colleague in her department. She interviewed a colleague in her department.
Then one of the people that I worked with got a bit funny. The questions were quite personal, and one minute he said he'd do it, then the next day he wouldn't. And in the end, he did do it.
Okay, he do it, he didn't do it, he did do it. So he kept changing his mind. So that is option D. Well done. Question number 40. A tutor in a foreign university.
The most bizarre case was a telephone interview I did with a teacher at a university in France. He answered all my questions in great detail, but then when I asked how much access he had to dangerous substances, he wouldn't tell me exactly what his work involved.
He wouldn't tell exactly what his work involved. What does it mean? Refused to tell Shona about their job, right? He wouldn't tell exactly what his work involved, right? So C will be the right answer for question number 40. That's great.